impressed me a lot. How much rushing yards did he have? He had like 200?
73 something.
Jeez. I mean, dude's a baller. Dude's a baller. And, you know, he was making some plays in the pass game as well. But I'm happy for him. You know, I'm happy for the success that he's finding. He's finding himself in this league. And, you know, I think people are starting to recognize more the more he gets out and has those opportunities to play.
Tua Tagovailoa praising Justin Fields. And Justin Fields, arguably the best of the 2021 first-round quarterbacks. I don't know. 178 rushing yards. The most for any quarterback in a regular season game since at least 1940, surpassing Mike Vick by 5 yards. Colin Kaepernick had more in a postseason game for the 49ers against the Packers back in 2012, I believe it was. But Justin Fields, having that extra level, that thing that allows him to run away from NFL-caliber defensive players, and you don't find out about it until you get into the NFL. That's when you find out how fast you are. That's when you find out what you can do against the best that the world has to offer. An unbelievable performance by Justin Fields yesterday in a loss. That's the problem. It's hard for him to truly enjoy it because they lost. But you could argue they shouldn't have. And that pass interference is a little inconsistent on pass interference in the NFL. It's kind of always been that way, but it reared its ugly head yesterday. But look at this 61-yard run by Justin Fields. Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that's the funny part. I mean, you just said it, that Tua Tagovailoa was saying, oh, you know, I'm really happy for him. Yeah, you're happy for him because he lost. You won the game. To the victor go the spoils, right? So it's easy to be happy for Justin Fields when he's playing that well and it's still a loss to him. But yeah, I mean, look, I like the fact that Matt Eberflus and Luke Getsy have shifted this offense to be more of a style that fits Justin Fields. Right. I mean, we were watching them a few weeks ago and it was just like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and it doesn't necessarily work. But since they have gone to running Justin Fields more, utilizing his skill set as a runner, it's made everything look more fluid, and the Bears, it makes them look a lot more competitive. And so I think as the Bears sort of find themselves, you know, as we get later on in the season, it's going to be one of those teams where if you're in the NFC and you've got to play the Chicago Bears in December, you know, those first couple weeks in January, you might not want to see them because they might have the chance to really play spoiler. 67
total points. I didn't have the guts to go with the over 45.5 as a best bet, but it was one of those that was just jumping off the page. Between those two offenses, what the Bears have been doing lately, what the Dolphins have been doing, the wind was a factor going into the weekend, but it wasn't a factor yesterday as the Dolphins score 35 and the Bears score 32. That pass interference call at the end, though, I don't like the idea that we would call this foul all game long, but when the game's in the balance, we're gonna tuck the flag deeper in the pocket. If it's pass interference on the first drive, it should be pass interference on the last drive. And Myles, that sure looks like pass interference.
I mean, it is pass interference. He clearly grabs him by the waist, as we're going to look at right here, and then pulls him back. If that's not pass interference, I don't know what is. And I mean, if we talk about, you know, you're going to put the flag deeper in your pocket, then Tom Brady shouldn't have gotten that call late in that game against the Los Angeles Rams, right? I mean, this is just the kind of thing that sometimes it happens. That's a foul. That's a clear foul, and it should have been addressed as such in the game.
It's just one of the fundamental realities of the NFL. Pass interference is so subjective, and it's all happening so quickly. And they tried to make it subject to replay review 3 years ago, and they completely botched it. And now they're using that as the shield to ever having anything else subject to replay review. Oh, we can't do roughing the passer because it was such a disaster when we did pass interference. Yeah, because you created the disaster. Because you put somebody in charge of it who shouldn't have been in charge of it. And it was a shifting standard. Nobody knew what the hell was going to happen. And it's hard enough anyway with pass interference. A little bit easier with roughing the passer. A little bit easier with whether or not a defenseless player was hit in the head or neck area.
Right.
So it's a cop-out. But let me tell you, I had the quote the other day because they sent the pep talk letter to the officials. Troy Vincent did. What a great job. Oh, you're all doing a great job. As everybody else knows that they're not. in the age of legalized gambling, these kinds of things make people think the fix is in. And there's a great quote that came from Roger Goodell back in 2009 when they were trying to fight Delaware in court as they tried to preserve the federal law that kept states from embracing gambling. The NFL was anti-gambling. And Goodell's point was things that are otherwise ordinary mistakes, people are going to think the fix is in. So what do people think when they see that yesterday, Myles? What are people going to think? I've been saying for years the fix isn't in. The games aren't rigged. But when you see stuff like that, it gets harder to argue to the tinfoil hat crowd that the fix isn't in.
I guess it does, but I mean, over the course of a game, you see so many things where mistakes are made, and it happens to both sides. So
I agree.
know. I mean,
I agree, but that's the only one that people are going to talk about, right?
Well, yes, because it's the only one we're talking about. So who's setting the agenda on that? Oh, it's you and me, and our producers and everybody. So like, I don't know.
Well, I think we're a reflection of what people are organically noticing. That's the one big, that's the moment. That's where the game turns. So anyway. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.